I promise this is not a Star Wars series. It sounds like it. When I first looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, we're getting a love story or a background on people who are obsessed with Star Wars, but this is much more than that. It's so thrilling. It's called Skywalkers, a love story. I'm talking with director Jeff Zimbalist. So thank you for joining me and tell us what Skywalkers, a love story is all about.
Thank you, Trevor. It follows two rooftoppers, as they're called, a couple from Russia who trespass onto the highest buildings in the world and do acrobatic stunts. It's a film about love, and it looks at romantic trust and courage through the metaphor of extreme climbing.
And this is, like I said, it's thrilling is the perfect adjective to describe this. How did you come across this couple in this show or in this movie?
I was an amateur but very passionate rooftopper myself when I was in my teens and 20s. I was drawn to it for a lot of the same reason that the two main characters were. It was transcendent, it was the calling of the unknown, an opportunity to face my fears on my own terms. And then as I became a journalist and storyteller, I realized that people were doing this all over the world. I didn't even know it had a name. I just called it trespassing. And I discovered it's called rooftopping or urban exploring, or as our two artists call it, skywalking. Tracked the rise of the phenomena until I found a story that resonated as deeply as my experience had, and that was with Angela, the first female rooftopper. She burst on the scene around 2016. She introduced me to Vanya. At the time, it was early in their courtship, so they weren't public about their romance yet. And she explained that he was a rival or a competitor, but you could sense the flirtation bubbling under the surface. And that was where the seed was planted of, oh my God, maybe we could tell a love story on top of the world.
And what's so great about this is you are telling that love story as it's unfolding. It's so great to see on camera. When did you realize this is like what is happening between these two who have shared the same passion?
Yeah, right from that first introduction, I sensed that there was the possibility that that's what this story could be. And often you find a world that you want to tell a story in, but it's very difficult to find that missing puzzle piece that says, here you go, now you've cracked the code, you know what this is. And so yeah, I figured at that point, if this romantic interest actually turns into something real, then we can look at more universal questions about love and trust. I mean, all of us feel that there's danger in our own romances and our own love. It breaks our heart, it crushes our self-esteem. And so this is a material, tangible example of that hopefully has us looking at our own choices and our own partnerships.
Yeah, and you mentioned trespassing. Obviously, not everything they're doing, scaling these buildings, these massive skyscrapers, these massive buildings across the world, not all of it is necessarily legal, but they're finding ways to do this. And what was that process like as you have a film crew following their journey through this?
Yeah, it was guerrilla filmmaking. It was renegade filmmaking. So, it was our top concern that everybody was safe, that nobody got arrested, nobody got hurt. We had a very strict safety protocol, which we had written out and signed not only with our Skywalkers, but also with their families, their siblings, and their parents. And the main idea was that these two are constantly negotiating with each other while they're on these climbs what their own threshold for risk is. And because they're trained acrobats and gymnasts and they have a very heightened sense of concentration and balance, there's things they're doing that nobody else can do. They are the top of their game. We would trespass with them onto lower roofs where we could capture scenes with our bigger professional camera rigs. And then when they would go onto a spire or a crane, we would back off so as not to distract them, not to take away from the process that they have done thousands of times and has worked for them. The danger was real and we were very aware of it. We were constantly talking about it with them and with each other. The main conversation I had with them was, I don't think that this film rides on whether or not you succeed at these climbs. Even if you fail at the Merdeka 118, the second highest building in the world, the real suspense is whether or not you're going to choose to trust each other. That's going to be satisfying for an audience member. So you could fail at your external mission, but succeed at your internal mission, and we're going to feel satisfied. Please don't overdo it. Don't do anything you wouldn't do otherwise for the cameras. In fact, do a little less than you would do otherwise because we're really nervous down here.
Yeah, beautifully said. You're so right about, I love how you guys put safety first, and their love story is obviously the main draw in this, which we didn't know. And this had such a huge reception. at film festivals. What was it like getting the audience? Just audiences are enamored with this film, and now streaming on Netflix, people are going to just love it even more.
I hope so. It's been a dream ride so far. I mean, it was a harebrained scheme in my little head 7 years ago, and one person after another took the leap of faith on the project, from our financiers at Library and XYZ Films to our crew, to the subjects themselves, now Netflix. So everything about this has been a dream come true. I mean, we've now played at something like 16 film festivals, to standing ovations and packed houses. Something that's never happened to me before, and I've been doing this a long time, is that without fail, every screening, the audience applauds during the movie. I've had applause after the movie, but during the climax of the movie, no matter where we are, and we've taken the film around the world now, people just, the catharsis, the release of that tension and suspense, people just break out into cheers. So it's been an amazing experience.
You're absolutely right. I'm very hopeful for potential Oscar nomination for documentary feature. This is so thrilling. I had chills through my body. My legs were weak watching the movie, but it's such a satisfying story. Thank you so much for telling this, and make sure you watch Skywalkers: A Love Story on Netflix. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank you so much.